What's going on, Cancer? I salute the divinity in you, and welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and how you feeling? You ready to chat it up? This, it's my favorite time. The moon's in Gemini. I'm going through a lunar return. Who doesn't love that? But I do think that there's something with Gemini. I think one thing that can be talked about is just like how inventive I think the Gemini energy can be, and even how innovative I think Gemini can be. And we're gonna definitely get into that more here in a moment. There's a lot to talk about with that. But if you're new here, again, my name is Justin. And now that when you're coming across this video, you're in sync with the moon, and she loves that. But there's also a place for you if you happen to have Cancer in your placements: Sun, Moon, Rising, maybe Mercury, wherever. This one's for you. And I do tarot card spreads based off that lovely luminary, the good old moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, and when she's going void. Of course, it's all them lunar shenanigans. Oh, it's not the painting over. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what fits into your story, discard the rest, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it, because I was like, I can barely contain myself in this one. But before we get into all this Gemini energy, let's talk about their ruler, Mercury, because depending on when you're watching this, happy Mercury Day. Mercury Day is associated with Wednesdays, and it's a great day to chat it up. This could be a great day to just like catch up with some friends, some family, maybe just like maybe go out with some coworkers, catch up with your neighbors, chat it up with the grocery people, just whatever that's looking like. I find that this could be a great day too for if you have any sort of like studying that you need to get done, maybe even exploring during like Mercury hours if that's something that's available for you. If the times tend to work with your schedule there, explore that. See how that feels. And I think that this could be a great time too if you have to do like a lot of talking, maybe like schedule interviews between like Mercury hours, especially now that we're getting more longer daytimes. We're gonna have those kind of nice little chunks there. So see what you can do with that. But another thing that I like to do while talking, I've talked about the Orphic hymns a couple times. So, and I'm still putting a link in there for that. So, but that might be something of a mercurial activity I do today. But also one thing that I like to do when we come around to these days is just think about my Mercury placement. How is that in relation? What sign it's in, what house it's in, what transits are maybe affecting it right now, what transits are to come. I actually got a few things going on with some trines going on with my Mercury right now. It's nice. It's very nice with this Venus and Mercury that's going on here. So I'm with it. Yeah, actually, but depending on when you're watching this, I'm actually kind of like I'm pretty on top of things right now. But also too, yeah, paying attention to Mercury transits, how those affect you, because even though they tend to happen pretty fast, something's happening. Those topics are on your mind when Mercury's transiting through there, and especially when Mercury retrogrades, when it's going back between a couple signs. Those are a really great time to like, let me review what's been going on over here. There's a specific reason the planets are pulling my attention this way. So those are some things I like to think about when we're working with just with these Mercury days. But let's get into the lunar shenanigans, because depending on when you're watching this, the moon is going to enter into Gemini on the 5th of March, and this is going to be at 4:30 a.m. and that's going to be Pacific time. And we'll talk about the first quarter phase that's going to be happening on the following day, the 6th of March. But when you just think about the moon in Gemini, this is a great time to get curious about any sort of like emotions that may be coming up, but just curious in general. If there's an idea that you've been wanting to, they maybe want to look into like a language, maybe you wanted to look into a certain subject, maybe you wanted to look into making some sort of like friends, or maybe learning to do some things around your home space. This would be, see where the moon's at for you. But I think that it's when we're getting into Gemini, that sort of territory, this is like, how can I not just learn things just for learning's sake, but how can I learn this and then put this, and teach this thing, put this into something that I can utilize. Gemini, is associated with the hands. So this is something that you want tangible. That's something that you maybe want to learn how to play the piano or play the guitar or be better at typing, maybe internet things, whatever you do on the internet. But this would be, I find the moon It's interesting when the moon is in an air sign. I find that this can be a great time if you're working through some type of feelings to, again, talk them out, write them out when the moon's in Gemini, or maybe even like record it, whether that be like a video so you can even pay attention to it. I find Gemini is very perceptive, and you can pay attention to your body language and the inflection of your voice, your word choice and things. But you can do that in just like a regular voice memo too. So I think those are just some things to play around with the moon in Gemini. Now, let's talk about the first quarter moon that's going to be happening. Got a lot of energy going on here, and I'm going to switch over. I got a chart for you. Now, oh, and I did not, man. it's fine. I guess I don't actually need it. I got to draw for this one, don't worry. But on Jupiter Day, the 6th of March, the first quarter is going to happen at 8:32 a.m., and that's going to be Pacific time again. And that's when, we're just going to cut Saturn off. Actually, let's do, we're clicking things, hold on. Let's erase that and try that again. We got the sun here. I'm just going to circle Saturn, because why not? We got the sun there. Oh, it looks like we're going to circle Jupiter too, because why not? So, because everyone's all cuddled up right now. So, this happened. The first quarter phase is when the sun and the moon are 90 degrees apart, and I want to write that in red, but that's fine. We're going to make this a positive aspect. And we're going to be constructive, because that's what the first quarter is meant to do. It can be a call for action. And this could be where that sun, on just a general level, this could be where you're feeling something with that sun in Pisces. You've been wanting to move in this direction. Maybe you want to get your own place. Maybe you want to invest in a car. Maybe you want to move a certain relationship along, or something along those lines. But, I'm drawing on myself. Hold on. We're just getting it together. But whatever that feeling is, that moon in Gemini would be a great time to start taking action toward, because Gemini is active energy. And as you can see, the moon just separated from Jupiter, but is getting ready to apply a square to Saturn. And this could be like, okay, where instead of just having it be a feeling, let me talk about, let me just kind of do some research, do some brainstorming. It's like, how can I make this tangible? And then start taking those actions, in a sense. That's what I'm feeling this energy being in. Considering that this, just when I'm looking at this chart here, there's a lot going on, because right around the same time, the sun is getting ready to form a trine with Mars. So there's movement that's happening here. Sensing that maybe things haven't been quite on track like you want to. Now this Mars going direct now is able to okay, this is where I feel the energy moving. This feels right for me. That would be, I would think, a constructive way of working with this. It's not to say it may not be challenging with Mars. You're going to have to maybe push a little bit, even when you don't maybe feel quite like it, but it's going to be worth it in the long run, is what I'm thinking. Thinking about these kind of big picture sort of energies here. But if you want more specifics about what this is highlighting, just look to see where you have Pisces and where you have Gemini. And if you have any planets or points around this might be working with you more personally. So that's just something to consider there. But let's switch back over here, because I wanted to talk about the Sabian symbol that this moon falls on, and it's phase 77 of Gemini. And it talks about the head of a robust youth changes into that of a mature thinker. And I really like that energy there. I think it gives Gemini a focus, of not, because Gemini is more than just being this sort of scattered all over the place. Some of the most, just intelligent people I've met have their sun in Gemini. My mom's just really clever. She's really clever and really smart. One of my band teachers, amazing musician. One of these guys that I was a roommate with in college, hilarious. Hilarious. And it's, oh man, it's just there's a quickness there that you really, really kind of appreciate. But the keynote for this is the transformation of physical vitality into the power to build concepts and intellectual formulations through which knowledge can be transferred. And that's basically Gemini, to be able to take your ideas and the things that you're feeling and to put them outside of yourself. That head of a robust youth, that's someone that's bursting with energy. Someone who has And I think that with what these energies have been moving us to do is to evolve into more mature thinkers, to think before we speak and before we act, and to just be curious, like, is this in alignment with me? Thinking more kind of energetically, but still being able to put that stuff into form, putting those more spiritual concepts into that kind of everyday use. I think it's like I think that there is this need for just more intentionality. I think where we can be pulled kind of to and fro, like we were talking in the last one, being kind of scattered. When that Gemini energy focuses, it's just a fountain of knowledge that can come through. And again, that moon just separated from Jupiter, but still in that realm where it's got those energies. So it's like, what are we doing with all this information that's available to us? This how are we working that mind power? That's just something I think to kind of think about with this. And yeah, just make your ideas more tangible. That's what I think the Sabian symbol is really trying to evoke here. So, but just some things I think to think about there. But that's all I got for the astrology there. So let's go ahead and switch over to your general energy of the day, which, like I told you, we got a lot of energy on, a lot of air energy here. Now, if you are wanting to look into see what the transforming hexagram is and what the lines were, I marked here when I did my kind of castings. I do like a whole little thing before to get the hexagram, but those ones with the X's are the changing lines. So yeah, just change those to the opposite lines, and then you can get some more information. Actually, that turns into Earth over Heaven. So I thought that was very interesting. But this is mountain over mountain, the highest of the high, where the air's just flowing. And the hexagram 52 for your general energy is listen to the wind. And the oracle for this one is quiet your heart and be calm. Remember that even stillness can be a form of movement. The sage contemplates the situation in stillness. It is natural for the heart to fluctuate and the mind to flutter, but exercise restraint. Listen to the wind. That is how you will hear the answer to your inquiry. The wind will carry an important omen to you. Silence is the way of self-mastery. You show your strength to others when you sit tall like a mountain. Walk with the formidable presence of a mountain, all the while calm and serene. Think before you speak. Silence is the way to prevailing in your endeavor. Present inaction paves the way for future gains. And so if you're coming here looking for, if things have been, maybe the mind has been maybe there's been a lot of anxiety going on, maybe you've been feeling a lot in the body, the waters have been just kind of churning, this is a time to get calm. And I know that can be hard when it feels like that things are just really frantic, but in order to get out of that state, it has to come from a quiet mind, a quiet heart. And I think that there's something here, something curious about Gemini energy too, is the silence. I think that is a great point to think about with Gemini as well. Maybe that's not something that's talked about enough. That it's not just to be a great communicator with Gemini, but to be a good listener, to be able to notice what people's words choices and the body language, the inflections, the meaning, to be read between the lines, to find the wisdom in the metaphors and things. But that requires sometimes to slow down, where you think of Gemini as that mutable air as something that is quick and going and going and going. But now, when you find it that you've been doing that and just turning the wheels, slowing the pace down, slowing your speech down, trying to slow your thoughts down. I'm even trying to do that right now. And it's a different feeling. I think that this is a time to, if you haven't been watching your words, just pay attention to what you've been putting out in the ether. Maybe taking more time just to sit in quiet. Maybe this could be some time if you're one that tends to just have, like, maybe there's something that's always playing. Just take a beat and just listen to the just the natural sounds around you, to maybe traffic going by, or maybe the birds out there chirping, the wind. I mean, listen to the wind if there's the wind's blowing. What what message? See what you notice. I just noticed here that there's a number there, the number 6 maybe, which is the lover's energy. So there's some Gemini reference there. There's signs that I really think that this message is giving as well. But in order to find this, you may have to sit in the uncomfortable to get curious with why this thing, as it makes sense. Of course, you go as you. We're growing in this experience here, but whew, just some things to think about. I think there can be, if you take a minute, do some meditation, do just kind of sit, maybe do some journaling, see where your thoughts are at. You can get an epiphany, get some insights here. There's even a little mention here about even some astral projection, maybe some dream work. There's an oracular sort of quality about Gemini. I think that was worth exploring as well. Now, the lines that are to kind of bring some attention, some advice for the hexagram. The first one you had is line 1, and this says, "The feet at rest, calm and tranquil, no harm comes. Gains to come in steadfast passage forward." So this to me is giving the feet again some time to kick your feet up. Even though again there may be a lot going on, but there has to be a moment for some stillness. And I think that this is even just making sure that you're getting enough rest. That could be another thing, but this is a time for patience. And it's very contradictory, I really think, with that when we think about Gemini. But even when you think about the first corner, that's a little bit of light and a little bit of dark. And I think that Gemini would benefit from exploring the dual sides of sound and of silence. And being with not just being comfortable, but being in the discomfort. And I even think about that, just as working out, for example. When you go to push yourself, that can be uncomfortable. The body's just like, but it's getting stronger, and it's, so there's the exploration of opposites. But this is a time for slow, steady movement, for kind of evaluating how you've been moving. Because maybe this first quarter is, maybe I need to maybe pull back a little bit, maybe with this Pisces moon, or, having had been a Pisces lunar cycle. Maybe this is just like, I got things preparing for this Aries one that I really want to get started. That's where our next solar eclipse is going to be happening. So maybe you're getting some rest for this time, but that's definitely something I would consider. Now, the second line talks about the calves at rest, calm and tranquil, no relief to their followers. The heart is not content. And one thing that I think this talks about is the kind of how it can be maybe difficult to be at rest when maybe others around you, this could be your friends, maybe coworkers, family, maybe are going through maybe a tougher time, and maybe there's this anxiety of, oh, well, I gotta be on. I gotta be doing this. I can't rest because everyone else is up. Maybe I gotta overextend oneself, and I think that's not going to bring relief to anybody, because if the mountain is shaking, then everyone's nervous, and so I think that there's a need to look at how when you find calm in the storm, it's like leading by example. And though you may feel, maybe there's a feeling of powerlessness for, being able to help others in the moment, but in the long run, I think that things will get back to the desired position, but I think that it's just right now, again, the time for just being at rest. Because what I like about this, how this ends here, is for the 6th line, and this talks about desires and emotions at rest, attainment of great fortunes in the favor of the gods. And this is what I feel happens when, the epiphanies realized, you see a way out of the situation, and it's that idea of reception. because I think that's going to be interesting to think about when you go from, like, when we move into Cancer, into Leo, like how we go from masculine to feminine energies. And that just means those, those active to receptive energies. How when we receive inspirations, when we're in rest, then we're able to act on things. But if there's nothing to pull from, then it's just, we're just going. And so, yeah, just a thought, I think, to consider, to get in touch with spirit. I think just with the lovers energy being that Gemini's here, I think that there's a little something extra in that as well. But I think that's all I got for you there. So let me adjust that and switch over. And just a by the way, this is a service that I am including in what I offer, these I Ching things. So if this is something that resonates with you, it's a very useful tool to work with, way for spirit to communicate with. So if that's something that's resonating, that is available as well. But last little things here, we're going to go ahead and switch over to the tarot. But know that these readings that I do, they're not gender specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations. And I'm going to keep the stones on the table, but also ring this bell to just kind of clear the energies, to switch the transition here. So just evaluate me if you need to, but let's go ahead and get into this thing. All right. So I'm going to be pulling 6 cards, and they're each going to have a topic, and I'm going to get clarifiers for the ones that you had the changing lines for. So it'll be card 1, 2, and 6. So the first card is going to talk about short-term money matters. So let's see what's going on with the moolah. 6 of Cups. All right. That's what's up. So when I'm thinking about the 6 of Cups, I do see how this owl, there's a sharing that's going on here. There could be this need of getting with maybe together some sort of like some family members here. This could be a great time while you're resting to just catch up on with those who you've been close with, maybe some friends, maybe it's your neighbors, maybe it's your family, like I was saying, and just be in and this doesn't have to be just like going out. Maybe this is like investing in like a dinner or something like that. They got all sorts of, this owl I was looking at these cups and they got all sorts of critters in there. And the other one is elated. So maybe if you don't cook, maybe you know someone who cooks, or maybe this is all delivered. However that's looking. But I think that there can be this invitation for some joy that's needed right now. Maybe doing something kind of nice for yourself, getting like your favorite like meal, or maybe going to like a cafe or something along those lines. But let's get a clarifier with this 6 of Cups and see what's going on with there. This may also be okay. So you have the 7 of Wands here. And I was just thinking that there may be this invitation of wanting to enjoy things, but maybe you need to be a bit more frugal right now. Maybe you've been evaluating how you've been, maybe there's been some emotional spending possibly here with the 6 of Cups. It means to try to get to some sort of where. So that's something that's kind of coming up with there. But I also think too that there's this, when we were talking about in the hexagram or in the oracle, as far as what do they refer to them as? The followers, the relief from the followers. I think that as you're resting, there may be this urge. what I can sometimes notice is in empathizing with people, we can kind of take their stuff on, like, yeah, you know what, there has been such and such for me, and this thing and that. And it's like, I think the energies are trying to pull you away from calling to those weaknesses in like those situations. Like, yeah, there may be things going on, but shifting the narrative a little bit, but this thing could happen. Offer a new perspective, I think, with Gemini, and give people some new ideas. Be innovative in your speech. I think that sometimes we can get into these sort of just kind of programmed sort of call and response sort of answers here. And I think that this person is maybe challenging that, possibly maybe with the short-term money matters here, where you're doing things for you. You're enjoying life. It may not be anything lavish, but you're appreciating the things. That's something that can maybe translate as. But now let's get into the second one here. This is about medical matters, and I just want to preface with, this is not medical advice. Always check in with your doctor or whomever your healthcare practitioner is. But this is going to maybe some things that may be on your mind about your health, whatever that might be looking like for you. So let's see what's going on with the body. Interesting. So you have the Hanged Man here. And I just got this feeling of being suspended right now. Maybe you might be convalescing right now. You might be maybe in an elevated state right now. Maybe there's maybe there was talks of the feet and the calves. So maybe this is a time to maybe get off your feet if you've been standing a lot. And maybe even just seeing how maybe if you've been moving, or maybe if you moving versus moving too much. I think that there's that sort of analysis here. And I think that if you were to explore the opposite, that there would be some sort of, I think would just do good for the body in any sort of way, just doing things different. This could be if you have a certain workout that you always do, like that you have a go-to, maybe a certain routine. Change it up a little bit. Maybe go for a run if you're not much of a runner. You don't got to do anything that pushes you, uncomfortable. But I think there's just something here about maybe switching up the routines a little bit. Maybe the energies have gotten a little stagnant. That, or I would say maybe see where you've been sacrificing too much, maybe giving too much of your energy, your time, your space, whatever that might be looking. But let's get some more on that. Let's get a clarifier for this Hanged Man. Ooh. Okay. That's interesting. So you have the Temperance card in reverse here. And yet something is feeling out of whack. And I think that there's a need to get some perspective on it, some eyes on it. Get curious about something. This owl's head's kind of cocked there, like, like what something's not flowing. Like how this the cups are, water's flowing between the cups of this card here. Something's out of, just out of whack here. And, it may be tied in here with the money matters. That might be something that you've been sort of defending against. That could be a potential thing. So again, just apply that as that may resonate for you. Now, the next card is going to cover any legal matters or social affairs. And this is not legal advice. I should probably preface with that, too. This is not legal advice. Go talk to your lawyers. All that good stuff. Talk to your friends. Oh, especially with this. Because you have the Five of Wands here. Now, if you are in any sort of like legal things right now, any legal matters, I'd let this be one, not a time to get riled up. I would not engage in any sort of confrontations. It may be frustrating. You may feel the energy, Seven of Wands here coming at you. Your money's being affected, feeling some type of way. It's cutting into your pleasures. But I think that this is a time to work smarter, work in silence, be that wise sage that you are. Don't move right now. let people act some type of way, wild out, whatever that's looking like. Not disrespect you or anything like that. Like now, if there's some kind of shadiness or going on there, like I would say, don't let people think that they can just, get away with any sort of like that. Like get another view on these things. Because maybe there's a lot of stress that's going on with that hanged man with the temperance in reverse there. But that's just one thing. I think even with social affairs, I think this could be a great time for just getting out with some people, maybe getting into some like competitive energy, maybe having like a game night, something like that, something innocuous, maybe doing like, maybe you invite some people over, do some football or some football if you're doing European, something like that. I think that's something to help move the energies. Maybe even having like some sort of like debates, maybe like a trivia night. I think could be maybe maybe a little fun thing to do for yourself with the social affairs. But the Five of Wands can be a contentious card. Maybe there are people getting in the way of some things. I'd be mindful about some conversations. Think before you speak. I think that was something that was mentioned in this hexagram. Oh, well, we think we went too far back, but. Yeah, I think that silence is definitely, stay out of any sort of commotions or any things if you can help it. I think that would be just something to think about. And maybe that's something you get a perspective on. You know what? Maybe you used to get riled up, kind of get caught up in the drama, and you're like, you know what? I'm good on that. Y'all figure that out. I'm gonna go over here and enjoy myself. Let's go ahead and get into the next one, which will deal with your romantic matters and marriage. Okay, you got the Nine of Pentacles here. And this may be a time where you're doing maybe some solo work. Maybe you're doing some things where it's like, because when you're working on yourself, that improves the relationship. And so maybe this could be an evaluation of what do we both bring into the tables here. Like maybe you're thinking about wanting to take a course or something like that. Do something where you're just increasing your value some, and adding more gain to your matters here. This could be even too, there's some times where there's a single energy that's tied to the Nine of Coins. And maybe this is a time where you've been focused on romantic matters. Maybe this is a time where you need to take some pause for a moment. Focus on yourself. That's an energy that I'm even feeling from this thing. And maybe that's where this Five of Wands, maybe there's a lot of maybe tension or things because you see other people in relationships and they're like, oh, come on, you need to get out there, blah, 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 blah. And you're just like, no, I just want to live. I just want to do this thing, live like an empress. And then this is pre-empress energy, little empress. So I think that, this can be, because even if this is in a relationship, you can do solo work in a relationship. It doesn't have to always be. It's about the interdependence when it comes to relationships. So that might be maybe that might be something where with the Five of Wands, maybe someone wants to do some couple things, but you're like, hold on, I want to do. Maybe you got school that you're going through right now. Maybe you got like a course that you're studying. You're doing the thing right now. You're driving with spirit. We got this open dialogue here. We're synced up with the lunar cycle, so honor that. That's just something to come through there. But let's get into the fifth card, which is going to cover any sort of like immediately pressing matters right now. What's any sort of like maybe just this current stuff on your dome. Oh, interesting. I think you may have got that last time. Got the King of Cups here. I may have to look back at that because I think you got it in the same position. But with the immediately affairs, I think that looking into how the emotions are moving right now with the King of Cups, I find where he is a figure of emotional wisdom. That doesn't mean that he doesn't have his things where his temperance is in reverse. when he's needing to maybe gotten a little gotten into the ocean and is needing something to ground himself again. So I'd say just looking into that, I think that I do think that there is a thing too about being mindful about how much you may be giving to a situation. Even as far as like the Five of Wands, maybe this is like helping someone brainstorm through something, or maybe you're helping someone out and they're keep doing a similar thing, keep repeating a pattern, and you keep trying. But now it's like, you know what, I need to focus on myself. But build this story however this could make sense here. Just because I got it for certain groups, we can definitely, it all ties in together. But I like to just talk about too this. I get drawn to that fish sometimes with the King of Cups, and just letting things like any sort of like unresolved things, any sort of like things you've been carrying, any baggage. I think that this could be a great time to reevaluate that sort of stuff with the King of Cups. And maybe people are looking to you. You got mountain over mountain. So people are looking to you to be a rock, looking to you to be a foundation here. So you may need to be the centered force in the chaos. That might be something with this King of Cups here while this Gemini energy is coming up, just something to be aware of. If you've noticed the signs, have some practices in space, maybe some breath work, things along those lines. I think are just some ways to work with this energy. Now let's get to the last card here, which is the destiny or the karma, and karma, the consequences of actions. Let's see what's going on with that. Eight of Pentacles. I'm with it, but I am with that. We're the destinies. We're doing the work right now. We're doing the grind. We're taking a minute, and I think that this is less about like doing the work. I think that the karma could be with this Eight of Pentacles. Maybe if you continue to push through something, that you may overwork yourself, overexhaust yourself. There's all these emotion that comes up. There's this tension. Things just kind of snowball here. So I would definitely, we're going to get a clarifier for that, but I would pay attention to that with the Eight of Pentacles. I'm looking at there's like all these other pentacles that are really shiny. Now this one's giving this pentacle some care. And that's why I think that in order to see there's something specific maybe that's needing your attention. And just if you just pause for a moment, we can really channel the work more effectively here. Let's get a clarifier for this Eight of Pentacles. Okay. So you got the Two of Swords here. And ultimately the choice is yours. What you do with this thing here, but I will say, just trust your intuition. If something is like if you find yourself like a situation is getting out of hand here, some things are maybe stirring up, it just like I also think that there's a choice here. It's just like, do you want to continue to work maybe as hard as you have been doing? Maybe there hasn't been enough time for resting. Maybe it's just been just kind of just going. Gemini just really, really active and just like really feeling burnt out and almost getting maybe used to the burnout. Trying to keep other things, maybe to just, that's interesting, maybe even just to keep the appearances that things are fine, but, that's even something that I'm even getting there, so it's fascinating. Let's get some advice from Mercury. Oh, I like that. All right, so you have the Star card here. And let's go ahead and switch over. Because, I think with the Star card, This can be a card of healing. You know, this whole thing talking about being as still as a mountain, to be in silence, to especially when the mind is just in flutter, you know, just not sure what choice to make. I think that this star can also be like a thing of just like, as soon as you stop, it's just like you're able to aim higher. You're able to hear those, because it can be hard sometimes for however you connect with source to come through when we're caught up in the Five of Wands, when we're in Seven of Wands, and it's just chaos, you know, and just like constantly in maybe survival. You know, I was reading something about this, that the hexagram before this one, they're 52 and 51, they're just like a switch of one another, where Thunder of Thunder is the tower moment, or that what would be you would maybe consider a tower moment. This would be the star moment. You know, this would be a, you know, after the trials and the tribulations, you needed to take a second and just to assess the situations, to yeah, to plan out the next moves. Here's Aquarius energy coming through. I didn't mention there's Sag with the Temperance, water energy with the Hanged Man. So that's Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. You know, we're thinking about that as well. But just the element of water, in just more so in general than as specific signs. You know, whatever that may mean for you. And just even thinking too, with it ending on Aquarius, you know, just listening to the wind, maybe even just like communing with the stars. You know, that could be just something, little moments like that. You know, you can get a lot of clarity in that. This may not be, you know, maybe you can't just like carve out like huge chunks, but make sure you are carving out some sort of time to be in some sort of stillness, to see where you're at. You know, I think that that's important to be centered in Gemini energy, and just to explore again. This, I think this has been very curious to explore this kind of side of Gemini. So hopefully you enjoyed that. But if you like that, if anything resonated with you, give it a thumbs up. And share this if you know somebody who could get some nuggets of wisdom from this. And then subscribe there, you star. Hit that bell button to get notified when I release videos each day. And you know, that's even just interesting, you being a star. This little thought that popped in my head. This could be, again, like when I said like people are maybe looking up to you, and it just looks like you're doing maybe with that Eight of Pentacles things so effortlessly. Things are looking so much shinier for you because you're making these different decisions here. You're moving in silence. You're listening to your inner guidance, and people are noticing that. So that might be even something there with the star. Hopefully you stayed around in that. That's what you never know when these insights come through. But while I'm shuffling for your surprise card here, if you want to know what's going on with the other celestial bodies, down in the description box is a link for my other channel, Alchemist 8. Oh, we can get 2 today. Oh, we can 3 today. And I do weekly videos released every Mercury day, interestingly enough. And so this one, so that other one's coming out today, so just go ahead and hop on over to there. But I talk about the weekly transits and just like how to work with the energies, what are the transits that are coming up, and you know what houses that could look like for you. Talk about Sabian symbols and the whole thing. So definitely check that out. And I also do videos about different planets and different signs and different houses. So if that's something that resonates with you, that's all available for you. But let's see what your surprise cards are. That's interesting. So you have you got the Divine Guidance card here. Then you have the Safe Travel card and the Willpower card here. And I really think with that one, with that willpower, I think it's that willpower, the will to be silence. And to be silenced, to be silenced, to be silent. I think there's something in there. There's divine guide. Well, there is something in there. There's divine guidance in there. One. But I think that there's something to this safe travels. It helps you move through life differently. Easier, I would say so, in a sense. Where you're not caught up so much in the noise that's going on. Again, that Five of Wands energy that was going on maybe in the social affairs there. And I think in order to make the most of this divine guidance, it's gonna take some will to get through this thing. And to have places of safe travel to where you can connect with source, whether like a quiet space, whether this be, maybe if this is at, I remember when I worked at I'm working in this restaurant, I used to, when you just need to gather yourself, I'd go to the cooler and you just, okay. And like just that moment in itself is just the world stops for a minute and you can just reorganize. Like, okay, this is the plan, this is the plan, this is the plan. Go. And then just it falls better. Still chaos is still going on, but now there's structure to it. You can intuit through it differently. Just it becomes just a more pleasant journey, I think. Still with challenges, but you handle them like a star. So, oh, yeah, I'm with that. But that's all I got for you there. A little something to think about. But until next time, stay mindful out there. Keep eyes on that moon. And I will catch you on the next one, Venus Day.